Controlled and restricted airspace in Australia is constantly changing, both in the short term due to unscheduled operations, as well as in the longer term in response to industry and community needs, safety improvement, and the impact on our environment. A greater understanding of flying in and around controlled and restricted airspace can support pilots to operate more safely and avoid some of the most common threats to safety, such as airspace infringements and runway incursions. An airspace infringement is the unauthorised entry of an aircraft into airspace that requires a clearance to enter, may be restricted or closed for the purposes of special flying activity or other reasons. If you're involved in an airspace infringement, there's the potential for your aircraft to operate in unsafe proximity to other aircraft or harmful activity such as where live weapons are being fired. An airspace infringement may also increase air traffic control or pilot workload and result in delays to other aircraft. When planning your flight, make sure to use current airspace charts. Thoroughly familiarise yourself with local airspace and other aeronautical issues. Brief yourself on restricted area activations for your planned route, including NOTAM briefings. And remember that some types of restricted areas may not be displayed on charts, but will be activated by NOTAM. Also, remember to consider the control area steps along and around your planned route. And while flying, know your position accurately relative to CTA steps and restricted area boundaries. Verify your position if you unexpectedly arrive well ahead of or after your anticipated arrival time. And if in doubt, ask ATC for assistance. Remember to make sure that your transponder is working before you fly. If operating VFR in Class G or E airspace, set your transponder to on or alt with code 1200 selected or the ATC assigned code. This will make your aircraft visible to ATC and the airborne collision avoidance systems in other aircraft, and activate your ADS-B if fitted. Actively monitor the appropriate area radio frequency and monitor transmissions. ATC may direct calls to you based on your position, altitude, or heading. Speak up if you think a transmission may have been directed at you, even if you're not sure. Remember that CTA steps may be based on various references, including the aerodrome DME, the aerodrome reference point, or runway threshold. On the VTC, the steps will refer to the datum used, such as 12 DME or 8 NMARP. Remember that controllers are there to help you. Depending on their workload, a controller can assist with navigation advice, traffic information, and weather. If you need to change your pre-planned route, be cautious, as these situations can easily lead to airspace infringements. If you require assistance with an in-flight diversion or a clearance request, contact ATC as soon as possible. If you need a clearance to enter an airspace, request it well before reaching the CTA step. 5 minutes prior is a good guide. A submitted flight notification will expedite clearances, as it makes it easier for the air traffic controller to understand your route and any changes you might want to make. Remember, always have a contingency in case a clearance is not available. Restricted areas may be permanent or temporary and not necessarily associated with military activity. Any restricted area, including temporary restricted areas, can be made active with short notice. TRAs associated with military exercises can be found in the AIP SUP. Restricted areas have an allocated status, which is an indicator of the likelihood of obtaining a clearance to fly through the airspace. NOTAMs may be issued to indicate changes to the conditional status, so it's important to check them during your flight planning. Conditional status RA1. pilots may flight plan through the restricted area and, under normal circumstances, when the area is active, expect a clearance from ATC. RA2. Pilots cannot plan and should not expect a clearance through the area when active, although tracking may be offered on a tactical basis. RA3. Pilots must not flight plan through the restricted area and clearances will not be available. Read the restricted area conditional status carefully and plan accordingly. If you cannot determine the conditional status of an area, treat it as an RA3 and avoid it. If you've any doubt about the current status of a restricted area, check with ATC on the area frequency. More pilot safety information about a range of subjects is available on the Airservices website at bit.ly/pilot safety for short. If you've any questions or you'd like to provide us some feedback, please email us at safetypromotions@airservicesaustralia.com. Thanks for watching. Have a safe flight.